Hello, I'm Elena, and today I want to share with you the story of my brother, Adrian, a story that taught me and him the real meaning of love, heartbreak, and healing. Have you ever felt your whole world breaking apart? Adrian did. The person he trusted the day most, the one he loved with all his heart, suddenly became a stranger. This is his story. Adrian was a simple boy living in Florence, Italy, the city of art, of poetry, of music, and for him, eventually, of love. He wasn't rich. He wasn't famous. He was simply a boy with big dreams and a soft heart. And then came Isabella. They met in college. At first, she was just another face in a crowded lecture hall. But there was something about her laughter, her energy, her way of looking at the world. Adrian didn't fall in love instantly. It was slow, like the first rays of sunlight sneaking into a dark room. One group project led to conversations. One conversation led to late-night study sessions, and those study sessions turned into long walks by the Arno River, where silence between them felt just as comfortable as words. Adrian used to say, "It wasn't one moment that I fell in love. It was every little moment stacked together, until one day I realized my whole heart belonged to her." Finally, one evening, standing on the Ponte Vecchio bridge, with trembling hands and a nervous voice, he confessed, "Isabella, I think I'm in love with you." For a moment, the world stood still. Then, she smiled the kind of smile that lights up a night sky and whispered, "I was waiting for you to say this." And just like that, two hearts became one. Their love blossomed like spring in Florence. They became inseparable. They went to small cafes, ordered one pastry but two forks, laughed over silly movies, and celebrated even the tiniest victories. When Adrian got his first internship, Isabella hugged him so tightly, whispering, "See? I always knew you could do it." When Isabella aced a presentation, Adrian clapped louder than anyone, his eyes glowing with pride. Adrian believed he had found his forever. For him, Isabella wasn't just a girlfriend. She was the rhythm of his heartbeat, the light in his mornings, the dream in his nights. And for a while, it truly felt like a love story that could never end. But love, as beautiful as it is fragile. And sometimes, the cracks appear so quietly, you don't notice them until everything is breaking apart. As time went on, Isabella's world began to change. She got a new job at a prestigious firm. She was ambitious, determined, her calendar filled with meetings, travels, and deadlines. Adrian, still struggling to find his career path, felt like he was running behind her. He tried to keep up sending sweet texts, planning surprises, calling late at night. But slowly, he noticed something was changing. The calls grew shorter. The texts felt colder. The meetings became rare. One evening, he asked softly, "Isabella, are we okay?" She avoided his eyes and replied, "I'm just tired, Adrian. Don't overthink." But deep down, he knew. The love that once filled every corner of their lives was slipping away. Then came the day that shattered his world. Isabella asked to meet at their favorite cafe, the one where they once carved their initials into the wooden table. Adrian walked in with hope in his chest. Maybe they would talk. Maybe things would heal. Maybe love would win. But her face was different, serious, distant, almost gone. "Adrian," she began, her voice soft but firm, "I think we should end this. It's not working anymore." His heart dropped. "What do you mean? We love each other. We can fix this, Isabella, please." Her eyes filled with guilt, but not with love. "I don't feel the same anymore. I'm sorry." And in that moment, The cafe that once held their laughter became the place where his world collapsed. Adrian sat frozen. He wanted to scream, to beg, to rewind time. But all he could whisper was, "Please, don't go." But she did. The days after the breakup were darker than night. Adrian stopped eating. Sleep abandoned him. Even the air felt heavy. Every street reminded him of Isabella, the bookstore they visited, the bench by the river, the smell of her favorite coffee blend. Even songs betrayed him. Every lyric sounded like her voice, every melody like her laughter. He asked himself over and over, was I not enough? Did I fail her? Did I love too much? Or not enough? He replayed every moment in his head, searching for answers that would never come. Friends told him, "Move on, Adrian. She wasn't meant for you." But how do you move on when your soul is still chained to yesterday? Weeks passed. The pain did not fade. One night, Adrian stood in front of the mirror. His reflection stared back hollow eyes, unshaven face, a man broken by love. And then he whispered to himself, "Is this who I am now? A shadow of the man I used to be?" That night, something shifted inside him. He realized Isabella had chosen her path. Now it was his turn to choose his. He could drown in sorrow or rise from it. Healing wasn't sudden. It wasn't magical. At first, every step was heavy. The gym felt empty. Books felt meaningless. Work felt exhausting. But Adrian kept going. Day by day, brick by brick, he began rebuilding. He read books on strength and resilience. He pushed his body at the gym until the sweat carried away his grief. He worked harder on his career, determined to create a future for himself, not for anyone else. Slowly, the clouds began to part. He discovered new hobbies, painting, running, even traveling to places he and Isabella had never been. He met new people, formed new friendships, and laughed genuinely for the first time in months. The pain was still there, yes, but it no longer defined him. Months later, fate tested him again. In a crowded mall, Adrian saw Isabella. She was walking hand in hand with her new boyfriend. For a second, his heart skipped. Memories came rushing back: the bridge, the cafe, the laughter, the tears. But this time, something was different. There was no anger, no jealousy, no hate, just calm. Adrian realized something powerful. Love is not about holding on to someone who doesn't want to stay. Love is also about letting go. He didn't hate Isabella. He didn't blame her. He simply accepted that their chapter was over, and his life still had many more chapters waiting to be written. Heartbreak is one of the hardest battles of life. It breaks you. It crushes you. It makes you question your worth. But sometimes, heartbreak is also a blessing in disguise. It teaches you who you are when you stand alone. It teaches you resilience. It teaches you that you are enough, even without the person you thought you needed most. Adrian's story is not about losing Isabella. It is about finding himself. So, if you are listening to this and you are going through a breakup, remember this. Yes, it hurts. Yes, it feels like the end. But trust me, it is not the end. It is only the beginning of a stronger, wiser, and more beautiful version of you. And that was the story of my brother, Adrian, and his breakup. A story of love, loss, and healing. If you enjoyed listening, remember, life always gives us another chance. Sometimes, the breakup you cry over today becomes the reason you smile tomorrow. Thanks for watching.